What's going on, everybody? We're back. We're live. Welcome to another episode of Foolish Finance Friday, episode 36, Triple F. Triple F Friday up is what we're doing. For those that don't know, I'm Tam. D is in the back. And Mika, what's going on? How art thou? You're hour behind. So it's 8 your time. This is perfect timing for you. Perfect timing. Might be out coming from a happy hour or on your way home. Either way it go, you're here with us and rocking. WK, what's going on with you? How you doing? Now, for those that don't know, we have meetups on Wednesdays. And our meetups on Wednesdays, you never know who's gonna stop by. So Kelsey Hightower stopped by Wednesday. We ended up going from almost to 11 o'clock. We went for 3 hours. You just never know what we're gonna talk about. We never know who's gonna show. You never know. Wednesday, I talked about an offer I have um, to build out this company's infrastructure in terms of security infrastructure and how to price that. How do you price yourself? Do you know your worth? Do you know how much you should charge? Do you? Do you? Jerome, what up? What's up, Fat Snow Fluff? That's Taylor. Lamborghini Mercy, what up? Lamborghini Mercy. I don't know. Every time I see your name, I be like, Lamborghini Mercy. Oh God. I don't know why I want to go into a Jamaican dance. I don't know. I just be feeling it. Every time I be like, da, da. You know how they go. Bum, 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 dun, dun. I don't know. I be like, Lamborghini Mercy. Oh God. I don't know why. Uh, da, da, uh, Dun, dun. I don't know. Every time I see your name, I couldn't. That's all I do. It's not live. Come on. It's not live. It's on. You gotta go to meetup.com/women in Linux. I don't know. You gotta get with Lamborghini Mercy. Oh God. Dun, 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 dun. Burr, 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 burr. Light it in here. Light it up. Light it up. Light it up. I don't know why. It's just every time I see your name, that's what I be in my head. I don't know. Just, that's what I'm feeling. Charlene, what's going on? Now every time you see your name, now you're gonna be like, "Oh God, light us in here, light us in here." Burr, 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 burr. And then when the DJ be like, and rewind it back. And I hit the butterfly. Lot of my say. Lot of mercy. Lamagana mercy. A lot of mercy. Leave you alone. That's just how I be feeling. Hope they got y'all some chuckles out there. A little key. A little ha. You said maybe your DJ life waiting on you. It might be. I swear I'm a DJ when I'm at home. I swear I'm DJ Tam. DJ Tam in the mix. Welcome to 96.5. We're back here kicking it with DJ Tam. DJ Tam, you know she's fresh. Brr, 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 brr. Don't get me going. Light it up. Light it up. I don't have no lighter, but I got a candle. Brr, 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 brr. I don't have no lighter up here, but I do got a candle. That's how I'm feeling. So everybody give a shout out to Larry get everybody say, oh my, oh God, out there causing a ruckus on this day. All right, y'all ready? Cause I'm ready. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Do I want to go here? Do we want to start off with the shooby dooby doo? Let me order it, and we're gonna build into it. That's I feel like it needs to be a build up. One ton, Tina. Let me get my yeah. Let's go here, and then we'll back into some stuff. Let's talk about some. Let's talk about some blunders today. Let's go. Let's open it up. Let's go. We back. Talking about I need a nap. I don't need no nap, D. Uh, one ton, Tina. One ton, Tina. Speaking of, so look, I was looking at they were talking about Sierra on this tour, right? And they was like somebody was like Sierra she her dancing keeps her fit. And I'm like, yeah, dancing keeps you fit, but what you don't realize is all them up and down, round and round we go in them squats, moving to the side, all the twists and turns, them squats. She doing squats. She up and down. Them thighs are strong. Them thighs are strong. Get your core on the whole nine. Absolutely. Better let her dance. They talking about she's a mother. You better let her want to step. let her let her let her get it. uh, sh- Once she stop, it's a wrap. One tantina. All right, let's go. I'm back. All right, so what happened this week? Wiz walks away from a $23 billion deal with Google to pursue an IPO. Now, the question they had, they said, if Google's going to give us 23 billion, what if we IPO? Now, this is a gamble. This is it's a gamble, but let's read about what happened, why they backed away, and is it a fumble? Did they fumble the bag? They walked away from 23 billion. Let's go. Let's find out. Let's talk about it a little bit here. All right, Wiz has walked away from a deal with Google that would have valued the company at 23 billion. CEO Asaf Rappaport told employees the company would pursue an IPO as originally planned. Now, if it's company owned, maybe he wasn't gonna get what he wanted out of it. Maybe he wants something else. Maybe they got some shares and stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Wiz walked away from a $23 billion deal to be bought by Google in what would have been the search giant's largest ever acquisition, telling employees it would pursue an IPO as previously planned. Saying no to such humbling offers is tough. Wiz co-founder Asaf Rappaport wrote in a memo obtained by CNBC to the company's employee. A person familiar with Wiz thinking who requested anonymity to discuss private matters freely said that the company weighed antitrust and investors' concerns as reasons for abandoning the potential deal. Now, the investors might have pushed back and said, yo, Slim, what you doing? What you doing? We got our money invested in this. Wait a minute. And hey, Rappaport wrote that the company will focus on its next milestones, an initial public offering, and a $1 billion in annual recurring revenue, which had been eyeing both targets well before talks with Google had been reported. The deal would have nearly doubled the $12 billion valuation of the startup, From its most recent round of funding, Wiz was founded in 2020 and has grown rapidly. Rappaport, who had been targeting an IPO as recently as May, the company hit 100 million in annual recurring revenue after 18 months and 350 million last year. Wiz cloud security products, which is probably going to be up now since the CrowdStrike situation. um CrowdStrike has a branding problem now. Same way with, you don't even hear their name being talked about no more. Solar Winds, a branding situation, right? Wiz cloud security products include prevention, active detection, and response, a portfolio that appealed to large firms and would have helped Google compete with Microsoft, which also sells security software. Alphabet cloud segment has faced increased competition from front runners and Microsoft and Amazon. The cloud unit reached profitability in 2023 after years of hefty investment. While Google Cloud has been consistent growth in years, the unit led by CEO Thomas Kurian is under pressure to continue growing in efforts to capture business under during the artificial intelligence boom. Now, granted, they need to capture some stuff, but the Google Cloud is going to have to go after government contracting, and there's some issues there. I mean, they're there. They're actually already there. I know for a fact because was recruited for one, but still, there's some issues with that. CrowdStrike at least mailed a $10 gift cards. That didn't work. That ain't gonna work. Google didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Exits in technology have been rare this year between startups awaiting for more repetitive markets before going public and challenging regulatory environment for acquisitions. The collapse of the transaction will be seen as a disappointment by the index ventures, Insight Partners, Lightspeed Venture Partners, Sequoia, and other venture backers that have all raised multi-billion dollars in recent years. Funds that run into the billions require assets of more than 10 billion or more in order to generate sizable returns for the limited partners, and those events have been rare. Said Brendan Burke, senior analyst at PitchBook. We'll have to talk about PitchBook. We'll have to talk about PitchBook. What's going on, Wrecking You? How you doing? Wiz founders previously built up security startup Adalom raised money from Sequoia and Index sold the business to Microsoft for 320 million in 2015. If you don't know who Sequoia is, you need to go look up Sequoia. In fact, I'm just gonna scroll back up here. If you want to know, some of these companies are privately held, right? When I say some of these companies are privately held, some companies like accounting, some people don't want to go public, some people go private. So company or hedge funds or index or people like Index Ventures, Insight Partners, Lightspeed Venture Partners, Sequoia, they'll go and buy a company. So a good company that I don't think you all know, they're based right here in Tampa, is No Before. Right? No Before. Right? Do you know who bought No Before? No Before purchase in billions. All right. So Vista Equity Partners purchased them for 4.6 billion. Right, that was in September 16th of 2022. Back in those was back in 2023. Sorry. So, do you know who Vista Equity Partners are and who they have under them? So here go Vista Equity Partners. I'm just gonna pull up an image. You should know this guy right here. You should know this guy, Robert Smith, Vista Equity Partners. Now, when we go back to Vista Equity Partners, and we go back to their portfolio right there, and then you go look at through their portfolio of who they have and what companies they have under here. Look at their companies. I can go on, but this is another way to find jobs, to find things you want to invest in. Limited Those limited partners, Oh, most definitely, they're bringing them on a deal, and so forth, right? Look at this. I mean, hold on. Look at this. Sonotype, right? Y'all know who Sonotype is. If you don't know, you better go look that up, right? And I could keep going. Vivid Seats, right? Just look at that. Look at what they have in their portfolio. There's no before right there for security. And then you can sort this by industry. So now here go government. Here's their government contracting piece, I'm assuming here, out of Denver. Then we come down here to hospitality and healthcare. Then we got recruiting, right? And then you can see where they're located at. And then we can keep going and we can go down here to, let's go to, oh, security is probably at the top because it looked like it's switching out on me. Application. No, that's right. That's right. Financial services, healthcare, IT operations. IT operations. Jam F, right? Jam F. Legal and risk and compliance, real estate, sales and marketing. And look at all the security companies that they got right here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight different security companies that do something. Most of them out of Texas so far, it looks like. One out of Florida, which was no before, and it looks like the rest is out of Texas. Right? So this is how you find those hidden jobs that you're like, oh, I didn't even know this company existed. They have that little small thing. The CISO over at No Before is a friend of mine. Let me see. Is he? Let me see if he's on the page. He may be on the page. Let's look and see. Let's look and see. Lighters in the air. Oh, they don't have their thingy. Let's go company background. Let me see if he's on here. I know he ain't in that picture. Let me see. No, they're in Clearwater. And all of the at the time, the CEO and the CTO and all of them, they worked right out of the office. I met them. I met all of them. They work right out of the office. They're pretty cool. Yeah, they don't have their pictures up. Like who's their leadership. They don't have. I guess for fighting purposes, I would take that down too. But whatever. But yes, Wiz backed out of it. Backed out. Right. All right. Next up, let's talk about it. It ain't the deal ain't done yet. IBM 6.4 billion HashiCorp acquisition faces FTC antitrust review. Antitrust review, right? So then now we got to talk about what's going on here. Let's talk about it. All right. So the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has opened up an antitrust probe into IBM's proposed acquisition of HashiCorp for 6.4 billion. HashiCorp disclosed the development in a regulatory filing released today. According to the document, both HashiCorp and IBM received a so-called second request from the FTC on Friday. A second request is a regulatory tool that the agency uses to collect information necessary for an antitrust review. The development is not entirely unexpected since large acquisitions frequently prompt the FTC to launch an antitrust review. Broadcom's purchase of VMware was eventually approved is among the major tech industry deals that drew a second request. Now, with that being said, I wonder is the deal with Boeing gonna draw a request because Boeing is trying to buy one of the plane companies. I wonder if that's gonna receive one of those antitrust reviews as well too. HashiCorp and IBM expect to promptly respond to the second request and to continue work cooperatively with the FTC as it conducts its review on the merger. San Francisco-based HashiCorp provides a suite of open source tools for managing cloud environments. Its flagship application Terraform automates manual administrative tasks such as provisioning cloud instances and also VMware and also GitLab and also other things. All right. Developers can use Terraform to create scripts that carry out such actions without manual input. HashiCorp also offers Packer. Yep. For managing a cloud environment, software components, as well as tools such as Console that can optimize and how workloads use infrastructure resources. The applications are complemented by a trio of cybersecurity tools. So again, getting into boundary for and then boundary and then looking at zero trust. So they go into a little bit about that. They said the plans was announced in April, a little under 3 years after closing the acquisition of another major open source provider. In July 2019, the company completed its landmark purchase of Red Hat for 34 billion. So they spent IBM had spent $40 billion over the last couple of years to stay in the market, to stay relative, right? Bit native, you said 6.4 billion is small compared to 34 billion. Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Red Hat acquisition has but Hashimoto, is that's his name? In it Hashimoto? Yeah, he had already stopped. He had already stepped down. Armand was still there. And they had changed some of their leadership. But they're still looking, to grow. But they were tired. They had grew it as much as they could, and they was like, we don't want to do it no more. We don't want to do it no more. But it's interesting that this is happening, even though this is a not a big deal, but it could be if the FTC bans it and says no to the deal. The FTC could say no to the deal. All right. The federal government may match your retirement savings by 50%. Do you qualify? Do we want to talk about that? Nah. Let's talk about this. The federal grand jury charges short seller Andrew Left with in a 16 million stock manipulation scheme. Let's talk about this. All right. Blow it up a little bit. I'm on the right page. That's it. All right, a federal grand jury in California has charged short seller Andrew Left with multiple counts of security fraud for a $16 million stock market manipulation scheme. The DOJ said in a statement on Friday that Left, who was a security analyst, trader, and guest commentator on television channels including CNBC, Fox, and Fox Business, is charged with one count of engaging in securities fraud schemes and 17 counts of securities fraud and one count on making false statements to federal investigators. As a short seller, Left would make money betting stocks will fall. The DOJ said the Left conducted business under the name Citron Research, which had a website that published investment recommendations. He published research on companies ranging from Tesla and GameStop to Grand Canyon Education and Peloton. If convicted, a maximum penalty of 25 years in prison on the securities fraud scheme count, and 20 years in prison on each security fraud count, and 5 years in prison on a false statement account, right? According to the indictment, Left would comment on publicly traded companies and make recommendations on shares. The commentary often included sensationalized headlines like investors peddling themselves into a frenzy and exaggerated language to maximize the reaction it would get from the stock market. Now, this is my take on this. My take on this is no different than anybody having a YouTube channel that says, if you don't invest now, you would die. If you look at all the headlines now, you see nothing but Gen X is going to die broke. You see these all the time. So now the question is, I have to look this up. Was he a fiduciary, and did he have to have did he have to stay within the parameters of that fiduciary right? Right. So there's some things there, right? So now let's go over here. It says, as alleged, Left knowingly exploited his ability to move stock prices by targeting stocks popular with retail investors and posting recommendations on social media to manipulate the market and make fast money easy money. The indictment further alleged that before Centron would publish its commentary, Left would create long and short positions in a public company on which he was commenting in his trading accounts and prepared to quickly close those positions after Centron publication and take profits on a short-term price movement caused by his commentary. Separately, the SEC said that it is charging Left and Centron in what they said was a $20 million fraud scheme that used bait and switch tactics to mislead investors. The SEC complaint filed in the United States Court District for Central District of California charges Left and Centron Capital with violating anti-fraud provisions of federal security laws. It says, and Andrew Left took advantage of his readers. He built their trust and induced them to trade on false pretenses so he could quickly reverse the direction and the profit from the price moves following the reports. Well, that's isn't that their fault? And you supposed are you supposed to read? Don't you go learn the candlesticks? Know when to get in, know when to get out, right? The complaint seeks disgorgement, prejudgment interest, and civil monetary penalties against Left and Citron and conduct based injunctions, an officer and director bar and a penny stock bar against Left. See, it says the latest charges were not the first time Left has been accused of misconduct. In 2016, a tribunal ruled that Andrew Left engaged in market misconduct by publishing false or misleading information about Chinese property developer Evergrande in 2012. But Evergrande, whose debt ballooned to exceed 300 billion, was unable to come to terms with its creditors and was ordered earlier this year to liquidate. Let's go check out the comments. Let's see what they say. Oh, I don't want to log in for no comments. Oh, here we go. Wow. Wall Street touts garbage 24/7 and there are no repercussions. This guy has done some great work in the past. He totally exposed fraud of Valent Pharmaceuticals. I don't think anyone had charges brought against that specialty pharma, self-dealing, debt-ridden, stock buyback cesspool. It says now it's about time the market manipulators are held accountable. No one is safe when the government want to get you. That's interesting. Wrecking You says there's a similar story to this that got dismissed by a judge in Texas. Patrick Doyle made a video about it. I had to look it up. I had to look it up. All right, let's go. Let's start with the mess. Petty T for the win. All right. I'm having panic attacks. My husband emptied our joint bank account, hacked into my email, and stole my life savings. Do I have any recourse? We starting off petty early. We gonna start off petty early. How early am I? Let's go. I'm having a panic attacks. My ex-husband emptied our joint bank account, hacked into my email, and stole my life savings. Do I have any recourse? I'm working with a fund manager as I found some emails where he pretended to be me and forged some documents. Ooh, petty. Let's go. I'm blow it up so we can read together. Together. Lighters in the air for her. Lighters in the air. Lighters in the air for her. Bum 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 bum. Lighters in the air for her. All right. Letters in the air. All right. My ex-husband took over our joint account and funneled my business savings into his accounts throughout our marriage via a PayPal account he set up for me and also took over. The bank said that because it was a joint account, they couldn't do anything about it. This was during our divorce. He also changed the PayPal name to his and the address to his best friends. I moved on with my life after being in a near fatal car accident. I've been recovering and lost track of statements. I had built up a pension fund and a money market account, which I thought was safe. But I learned my ex also forwarded my statements and my PayPal accounts to his best friend address and stole my life savings. I'm having panic attacks and I'm in shock. I'm working with a fund manager as I found some emails where he pretended to be me on some forged documents, even though it was a joint account. Isn't it illegal that he removed my name and added his business name and removed mine? And it's also said and changed the address and used it to steal money even from my business Visa card. Ooh, she gotta pay that back. Ooh, he didn't like her. He didn't like her. Is there anything I can do to get my money back? I think it is illegal to take over my email. Any help is appreciated. I'm absolutely overwhelmed. One, she should have changed that account. You should have got that money out quick, took him off, whatever. And on top of that, she should have locked down her email. Don't be so gullible. The ex-wife. All right, let's go. Let me see if we get a response down here. All right, here we go. Dear ex-wife, you have been traumatized by divorce, a car accident, and a devious ex. Don't give up. Whether the law considers the money that went missing to be stolen or simply moved to another account depends on whether it was in a joint account, in which case you are probably out of luck. If your lawyer did not raise the issue during your divorce proceedings or a separate account, if your ex managed to hack your separately held accounts, you should have a case. Either way, consult an attorney who specializes in forensic accounting and investigations. By the way, forensic accounting is going up as well too, right? It's likely that your ex broke the state and federal laws by hacking your email. Section 1030 of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act deals with a variety of offenses that occur when a person accesses a protected computer without authorization, according to the Department of Justice. The alleged cybercrime must involve the intent to commit fraud to obtain something of value to cause harm. For example, violating federal laws on computer hacking and could occur in somebody sends an email with a malicious virus with the intent to gain access to a computer. The law firm says it's important to note that a perpetrator doesn't have to actually complete the act of hacking a computer to get arrested, charged, or convicted with a federal computer hacking case. A conviction could result in a sentence of up to a year in federal prison or 10 to 20 years for more serious crimes. You would need to trace your ex clicks. Cases under the CFAA are often complex. The Department of Justice notes an analysis of whether a particular investigation or prosecution is consistent with charging policy often requires a nuanced understanding of technology, the sensitivity of the information involved, tools for the law, for lawful evidence gathering, and then who knows when she figured it out as well too. National and international coordination in issues and victim concerns. In Virginia, for instance, email hacking is a white collar crime, a class one misdemeanor for a first offense, and class six for a subsequent offense, according to Wilson Law Firm in Manassas. A first offense conviction could lead to jail sentence of up to 12 months and a fine of 2,500. And if it's a class six felony, it could lead to a prison sentence of 1 to 5 years and a fine of the 2,500. Yeah, that's all they got there. Then they start talking about PayPal. That's not what we want to talk about here. But yes, she does not have a case other than the email hacking. The joint bank account, there's nothing she could do about that. After you were divorced, after while they was divorced, she should have moved it out. Well, I think he hacked that email, right? She probably had a login to her own stuff. But again, if he went through her stuff and hacked it, then that could be the case. All right, let's go with this one. My daughter died without a will, but her undocumented husband refuses to claim her estate. Will her money be lost to the state? I want to read it again. My daughter died without a will. Lighters in the air, folks. Lighters in the air. Lighters in the air, folks. Lighters in the air. But her undocumented husband refuses to claim her estate. Now there's a reason why she said he's undocumented. Will her money be lost? How do I collect it as her next of kin if her husband is refusing to collect her and is to collect his inheritance? The husband is like, mm-mm. I thought it was me. All right, let's go. We'll blow this up a little bit more. All right. My daughter passed away without a will. She lived in California with her undocumented husband. Her estate is now required to go through probate, but she left money in another bank account, which her husband refuses to access due to his current immigrant status. As a mother, and as a mother and mother-in-law, I'm trying to keep my late daughter's money from being lost to the state. How do I collect it as her next of kin if her husband is refusing to collect his inheritance? That's what I said too, D. He a husband, like he, ain't he, and he undocumented. But once they get married, now they on they isn't that your in that don't he get a citizenship? All right, my condolences on the loss of your daughter. No parent should have to go through that, and there is nothing that can prepare a parent for loss of a child, even one who has grown into an adult. I hope her life was happy and fulfilling one. The weeks and the months that have followed must have been made all the more challenging by the issues surrounding her husband's immigration status and the money that languishes in a bank account. First of all, good news is that your son-in-law can inherit his late wife's estate. The bad news is that a non-U.S. resident under the law, he will have to pay federal taxes on the inheritance. In this case, the unlimited marital transfer deduction rule would not apply. The federal government does not want someone who isn't a citizen to inherit assets to inherit assets and pay no estate tax for the fear that those assets would leave the country untaxed. Ordinarily, spouses benefit from an unlimited marital transfer exemption under the Internal Revenue Services, regardless of whether the money is held in the U.S. or overseas. The IRS permits a U.S. citizen to give away up to 13.61 million in assets or property during their lifetime without incurring a gift or estate tax. They can also give each family member $18,000 without having to note it or have on their tax returns. So $18,000, I don't have to note it on my tax returns. That's a nice little piece of change for somebody. Avoiding probate court. Coat. Avoiding probate court. Many families don't have awkward conversations around money. Less than half the U.S. adults have a will. This is 48%. Perhaps more surprising is the figure has barely over the last 30 budged over the last 30 years. Your daughter and son-in-law represent a cautionary tale in terms of estate planning. Individuals can avoid certain assets going through probate if they hold accounts jointly or name a beneficiary for those accounts. So I want to ask this, fellas and ladies. Let's say you're 35, you've accumulated, I don't know, let's say about $1 million. about $1 million net worth. You got maybe 300,000 in the house. You may have $700,000 in various accounts, brokerage, 401k, this, that, and other. You meet a new guy or a new woman, right? And things are going well. Now, I'm asking this for a reason because I just want to see what y'all responses are. Um, that new guy or woman that you meet, y'all, get married, fall in love, get married, right? Are you going to put him or her on your account as the beneficiary to your stuff? Or are you going to put like some family members on there? Now, let's take it one step further. Let's say you get an inheritance from a baby boomer that has died or something like that, and you are like, hey, I got $400,000 in an inheritance. Are you gonna put that in a joint account for you and your new boo, you and your new spouse, or you gonna keep that for yourself? I just want to know what you gonna do. It's a reason why I asked that. All right. So I don't know if you remember this a couple, maybe about a month or two ago, maybe probably about 2 months ago. I told you I was looking at a YouTube channel, and this lady said it was husband and wife on there, and I think her mother passed away or whatever. She came into a large inheritance. It was some millions. She came into a large inheritance. It was some millions, and she was like, because she came into this large inheritance because it was some millions, and she said she was married, and she said, I love my husband, so I'm gonna always share everything with him. So she shared the inheritance with him. Now, his response was, and her response was like, I'm supposed to do that. But he said if he gets a large inheritance, he's not gonna share it with her, because he said he said the money is supposed to stay with his name, with his lineage, because he has the last name. The money should stay with him, and because they got married, she assumed his last name, and so therefore the money should be in the family and passed down to the lineage. Now, further in this conversation, they go on to talk about they got kids. They got two boys and one girl, and he said, I'm gonna make sure that my daughter gets something, but she not gonna get a bigger portion than the guys. She'll get a smaller portion. She's not gonna get a bigger portion than the men, or than her brothers in the family, because he said that the men carry the lineage. Now, my question is, fellas and ladies, if you are getting married and you have this big this big inheritance, ladies, say your mom and dad passed away, or they don't pass away, they've been saving this money, and it's like, baby, it's time, I want you to have this. I see you've matured, and they drop you off, I don't know, a cool 400,000. Are you gonna put that $400,000 in a joint bank account with you and your husband? Or you gonna keep it for yourself? I already know what D gonna do. The guy ain't gonna even know. Look at these comments. Let me look at the comments. The do trust. No, I would keep the money separate. It's mine coming into the relationship. No, the inheritance will go into an individual account. The ladies have spoken. I hope this isn't selfish. I'm 47, never married for these reasons. And no, I'm not even working one third of the list. No, I really don't like the energy he has around the money. Mine's mine. It's yours. Y'all ain't shit. Do I have a selfish crowd? Is this the selfish crowd? Does this crowd say we looking out for self? Is this crowd like self? Let me put my glasses on because I'm feeling like this is the selfish crowd. Is this the selfish crowd? I know it's one person out there that's gonna share with their significant other. I know it's somebody out there that's gonna be like, babe, I came into this $400,000 inheritance. We're gonna put it out there, and we're gonna live happily ever after because I love him and I love her. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You're gonna be like, girl, don't you know it's true? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. I think since the money came from the parent, it's ultimately up to the person receiving. But yeah, it is up to the person receiving it. But you love her. Reckon you love her. And we're together. We're a family unit. You're not gonna you're not gonna take that 400,000 and put it in an account together and be like, I love you. I love you always. You'll probably end up sharing wrecking you. I know we had one out there. I know we had someone lovers in the air. Lighters in the air. Light it up for love. D, you supposed to like they're supposed to light it up, D. I can see the argument for both sides too, but again, what are you gonna do? Petty T put the shades on because she's shady. Lamba mercy, Lord of mercy. Let's see. Nope, my name only. If I'm giving it, it would be for my kids and will be equally shared. I can't believe this crowd tonight. I can't believe y'all would not share the inheritance with people. Mm-mm-mm. All right, let's finish it off. Similarly, someone could set up a qualified domestic trust and name their spouse as the beneficiary. This gives people a range of options for how to structure their estate and can leave an income for beneficiaries, but critically, it allows people to avail of the unlimited marital exemption when leaving money for non to a non-citizen, although they must still pay estate taxes. More than 11 million undocumented people are living in the United States. So his predicament, while difficult, is not unusual as you think. Undocumented immigrants can buy a house in the U.S., although acquiring financing will obviously be more tricky. With the help of attorney, your son-in-law can hopefully overcome his own fears about claiming his wife's estate as an undocumented immigrant. Now, here's the kicker: he get that money. They got a child together. He gonna marry somebody else. Weenie, 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 weenie. Oh, this is so funny. Mm-mm-mm. I'm looking at these right here because I didn't see these right here. This one right here. I made a very stupid mistake. I spent $50,000 renovating my fiance's kitchen. Now he's reneging on his promise where I buy 50% of his home. Can't make this up. What do y'all be doing out here? So she sold her house. My house sold for 337,000 within one day, and it was mortgage free. And then she took 50,000 and slapped it into her fiance's home, and he was like, "Nah, boo." Okay, oh, let me read this. Y'all make me laugh tonight. I am a 57-year-old widow, still working full time and making $85,000 a year. Boo, where you get this 50,000 from? I am financially solvent with a decent retirement savings and some inheritance from my late husband. I will be okay no matter what happens, but I think I made a very stupid mistake. Nearly 4 years ago, I began dating a wonderful man. We fell deeply in love. Here we go, wrecking you. I'm in love. I'm in love to be loved. To be loved. We fell deeply in love and seemed so compatible. We became engaged in February, and the plan was I would sell my house and move into his, which sits adjacent to a family farm. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen. My house sold for 337,000 within one day, and it was mortgage free. So our agreement was that his house was likely worth 400,000, including a 2-acre yard, but excluding all the farmland. I will buy 50% for 200,000, and he will add my name to the deed. I moved into his home in April, and I promptly spent $50,000 on a beautiful kitchen renovation, along with some other minor things like flooring and lighting and paint that have already increased the value of the home. Waffling on adding the name to the deed. The remaining 150,000 is in a joint held bank account, so he has access to it. I can't make this up. You know what? I can't make this. This is crazy. This is dumb. But it is Foolish Finance Friday. Oh, she made my pressure is up. You done sold your asset. You done moved into his house. You still ain't had your name on the deed. You done spent $50,000 in there. You got 150 in a joint bank account. She more serious than he is. You right, D. This is nasty work. Nasty work. No, O'Shea. She probably talked to him and he was like, babe, whatever you want, babe. Whatever you want. Girl, I can provide. She said. She said, this'll look nice over here, this'll look nice over there, da, 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 and I'll come in and I could do this and I could do that. And babe, we'll do this and we'll do that. And he probably was like, okay, that sounds good. Let's do that. Trust me, no woman is gonna put $50,000 into your house without asking you. And she done moved in? Nah. Nope. What was she thinking? He not even committed. Let's go. All right. The remaining 150,000 is in a joint bank account. We set our wedding date to October 2025. However, as perfect as it sounds, he seems to be waffling on adding my name to the deed. My fiance insists that he hasn't changed his mind, but his kids want him to wait until we marry. My reply to that was that is fine as long as he doesn't expect access to my sale proceeds until that time. The big issue, I wish I hadn't spent that 50,000. Girl, you better go get that 150 up out of there. Get that 150 up out of there. Tell him to wait. Hold up. Wait. All right. So then he says, but what about the 50,000 I already spent? What if he passes away in the next year? Not likely, as he is 63 and very healthy. That don't mean that shit. They may be hitting some hitting things they don't even know. Right? Still, anything can happen. His adult kids will get the house, the money I invested in the kitchen, and possibly even the furnishings. Oh, you done furnished it, the place too? Oh, girl. I don't want to lose my home and have to move again at my age. Intend I truly did intend this to be a permanent move. Obviously, adding my name to the deed as joint tenants with the right of survivorship and getting solid wills in place will take care of the issue long term. But I'm just worried about what will happen until that time. Do I have any rights? Mm. Let's see what she got. The big issue here is not the $50,000 you spent in the kitchen. That money is gone for now, at least. The big issue is the 150 sitting in the joint savings account. That 50,000 sitting in that 150 sitting in the savings account. Now you need to run me my ducats, my G. Run me my ducats. Eat man, what up? All right. So it says the money should have never been in your fiance's bank account before the deal went through. Withdraw your 150 from the joint bank account, absolutely. Assuming it's still there, and put it in a separate account under your name, correct? Then tell your husband to be that you agree with with his children that yes, it's best to keep our finances separate until marriage, but he can't have it both ways. You either do the deal now or you keep everything separate. Ask him to either repay you for the 50,000 you spent in the kitchen, which is not gonna happen on a renovation, and if he is unable to do so, prepare a notarized loan agreement for the sum of 50,000. Pay me over time, my G. This is hard and brutal facts, is that you sold your house on a promise that you would invest in your husband's home. That gives him $200,000 cash, assuming his loan is paid off. Nice work if you can get it. You two have a little less than that. So now what? Wills can be created and changed. It's too late to get $50,000 back unless your partner agrees, but it's not too late to evaluate plans you intend to make upon your marriage. But please don't be naive to believe that the last will and testament and the joint tenancy with right of survivorship is ironclad. Mm. A will can be made and a will can be changed, and it can be done in secret or without a spouse's knowledge or consent. Having a prenuptial agreement would be far preferable to relying on your future spouse keeping his word after you are married. Case in point, this woman wrote me last year to say her husband had written a secret will when they were in a bad place in their marriage. She had no idea what was in the new will. Given that it was her brother's possession, one can assume she did not like the changes. Too many times a spouse will make a change, will make a will agreeing. Well, hold on. Too many times a spouse will make a will agreeing, for example, to leave 50% of the couple's estate to the children and stepchildren, only to do the complete reversal if they are predeceased by their spouse. Severing a joint tenancy without consent. A joint tenant can indeed sever the right of survivorship without consent of the other joint spouse. This is in California. The same is true for spouses who take title as community property with the right of survivorship. The law always varies by state, and joint tenancies also vary. In order to sever the right of survivorship, a tenant must only record a new deed showing that his or her interest in a title is now held in tenancy in common or community property. After one joint tenant severs the right of survivorship, the severing tenant, joint tenant, will have the legal ability to leave his or her interest in the property to whom he or she chooses. That is his or her children, the neighbor, or the president. You should assume marrying this man. Consult a real estate agent in your state and to prevent your joint tenancy from being revoked without your permission. Without your permission. Whatever she do, she need to go get that 150 up out of there. Either man, what going on? I would bet you he got the money in there too. He got money. Who knows? I don't. Hey, it don't sound like it. It don't sound like it either, man. Lisa Williams, what's going on? It don't sound like he got money in there. It sounds like she got her money in there. She done put more than 50,000 into the house with renovations and the whole nine, and she still ain't on the deed, and they in a joint account. Nah, man. They may have a joint savings account. Okay, let's say he got some money in there. Is it over 150,000? It's gonna be like the last lady where the guy changed it. Mm-mm. I'm getting my money up out of there. Now, with that being said, let's get down to some real numbers too. Yeah, we don't know what she got, but we know she need to get that money up out of there. My selfish people in the crowd already informed me they would never put their they would never put their money in there. Ryan Huntley said her first mistake was selling her house. The second mistake is not getting married first. I agree. I would have never sold my house. I get married and we see where this thing go. Mm-mm. We gonna see where this go. Why am I gonna sell my house to go live with you and we ain't even you ain't even you ain't got these? Mm-mm. You ain't got these. Better be like Destiny Child. You say no, 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 no. Mm-mm. No, sir. All right. Can you guess what percentage of people have 500,000 saved for retirement? Shockingly, it's probably less than you think. Less than you think. Let's go. Let's read it. On my mouse. It was over here. Oh, there you go. All right. Dreaming of a comfortable retirement is something most Americans share, but how much cash do you need to make those golden years truly golden? According to a recent survey by Northwestern Mutual, the average person thinks they'll need about 1.46 million. For single women, they've been saying and screaming 2.5. I just think a 2.5 is probably about right for everybody, right? Even couples. Excuse me, at a minimum. That's a pretty hefty goal post. While $1 million has long been the retirement savings target, the truth is that many people are starting from scratch. But what about those who save a substantial chunk of change? Let's talk about the $500,000 club. I don't know why we want to talk about the $500,000 club, but here we are. We're going to talk about it. It depends on the age. It depends on the age. When is this 500,000? This $500,000 at 70, or is this 500,000 at 55 or 45? When? Believe it or not, according to the 2022 survey of consumer finances, only 9% of American households have saved $500,000 or more for their retirement. That's right, less than 10 families, 1 in 10 families, have reached that milestone. It's an impressive feat, but it also highlights the challenges many people face. According to survey results, 40%, 46% of households have some type of retirement savings. $100,000 or more in their nest egg is at 26%. Right? What if you're a minimalist? But it's not about the minimalist, right, Charlene? It's about the time, right? So the average right now, most people, the average retirement now is 67. They've been trying to push that up to 72, right? Okay, so the goal is that money once you retire, you're not working anymore. This is hypothetical here. You're not working anymore. Your money got to last you at least for 30 to 40 years, right? So now the issue that most people have is not just the money, the length of time that money got to last. It's also what about if you're healthy as well too, right? So This goes back to a conversation I had on D. What day was that? What I talked about uh the federal jobs. Was that Saturday? I think that was Saturday show. All right. So remember on Saturday I talked about this, right? I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you it could be a possibility that you could look into do. You could look at it from this way. I may still have it. Let me see if I still have it. Let me see. Letters in the air. Mm, no, that was me saying create your spreadsheet. Mm-mm-mm. No, I don't have it. All right. So what I was saying was, say you work a job at, like, I don't know, say a Red Hat, or let's say Apple or Honeywell or something like that, right? Something like that. Something that's been pretty good in the market, been noticeable, whatnot. And say you want to go and you work that job for, maybe, I don't know, you get in there, you've been working it for about 10 to 15 years. All right. And you push, build your nest egg up. Push, build your nest egg up. Emergency fund, blah, 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 blah. Now you say, I don't want to go hard anymore. I don't want to go hard in the paint anymore. I want to just kind of coast, right? So you still have your Roth or 401k, or you have a Roth IRA, or whatever the case may be, whatever that looks like. And say you saved up a considerable amount of money over here in this game that you played with. Say you might have got to 1.5 million, or, well, I don't know, something like that, right? But now you want to say, you know what, I want to take it easy. You can flip and go to and work on the federal government side. Now, when I say federal government side, I'm not talking about government contractors like your smaller companies, but you can flip and go work at the federal government, because and with the federal government, you can get one of the better benefits is lifetime insurance, right? Where when you go to retire, you got lifetime insurance. Of course, you get the FERS, the TSP plan, and whatever. But now you can flip it and parlay and say, okay, well, now I'm gonna get and work it by. You got to work a minimum of 5 years. I do remember that. But now you flip it and now you say, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here and work and get the medical benefits for the rest of my life as well too. So now, instead of you paying the medical benefits, you flip the game and let them pay your medical benefits. And now you built up a nest egg over here, and you'll have this nest egg over here, but it come with the actual medical on the side, right? So I was just saying that this weekend, because that's the one of the big things you got to worry about is medical, right? I don't know if the spouse gets lifetime medical. I don't know. I think the spouse will have to work there, but I'm not sure about that. Right? But I'm just saying how to flip that game, right? Where you work really, really hard here, but then you like, you know what? I'm about 40, 45. I want to retire at 55, maybe even 65. I'm gonna flip it and work over here. And maybe you stay there till you're 50, and then you do your last 15 years if you want to retire at 65. I'm not telling you when to retire. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I know you got to be there at least 5 years, but you want to be in there enough where you stack enough money where you got two phones, one for the load and one for the plug. I'm just saying you got you got two, you'll have two incomes coming in, and you don't have to worry about the insurance on that. I'm just throwing that idea out there, for a back end. So you don't have to take out long-term care and all that stuff like that. You just working from that angle, right? So now you got 1.5 over here, and maybe you work enough and you put like 500,000 over here or what have you, or however you do that. But now you know what I'm saying, you got money coming from both directions, if you need it. And maybe you retire at 55, and because you could do, I talked about the rule of 55, where you could retire at 55. You can get without penalty. You can do a withdrawal without penalty at rule of 55, as long as it's the 401k at the current company that you are with will allow you to withdraw that, it's the rule of 55. So all those other 401ks that you got out there that are just out there floating, you need to consolidate all of that money and put that money in one place. Yeah. So I talked about the IRS, Farida. Um you could go that route. I would look at what the benefits are. Try to go in as a GS 15 or GS 14, and make sure you get some steps in there so you can, you know, mark your way up and go from there. So let me pull that up real quick. GS 15 pay scale. All right, so um I thought I had it on here. Classification step. All right, scale lowest to highest, step increases within pay grade. Let me see if it's gonna give me the steps. I don't want that. That's 2022. Let's do 2024. And here is by all right, let me blow this up. Um there we go. All right, so your 15 step one start at 123. Again, not big. You can now, let's be clear. I don't know how true this is. Shanika Askew said she rolled in her outside salary into being a GS, right? And so she get paid 500,000, right? But she rolled her salary into here. And so what I heard, now don't quote me on this, is that you could go into the government, but you could take your salary with you so you don't take the pay cut, right? And it depends on how you want to do that. But let's say for all intents purposes, you can't do that. Let's say if you can get in at a 15, I don't know what it is to be a 15 at step 5 and step 6, but I would prefer you to be alone up in here around about 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, right? So again, I just pointed out there what the benefits are, like with that. So our RS benefits in retirement. Mm-mm. I don't want to. Oh, that's not what I want. Mm-mm. I should go this. Should go government worker benefits in retirement. USA. Let's keep it there. All right, so the first is a retirement plan that provides benefits from 3 different sources: a basic benefit plan, a Social Security, and the thrift savings plan. 2 of the 3-part first, Social Security and the TSP, can go with you to your next job if you leave the federal government before retirement. But what I want is the medical. I should do that. Government worker medical benefits. All right, to be eligible for your health benefits enrollment in your retirement, you must first have retired on an immediate annuity, that is an annuity which begins to accrue no later than 1 month after the date of your final separation, and 2, have been continually enrolled in that plan. All right, FEHB. All right, so let me look here and let's look at this frequently asked questions. Um, how will OPM verify that I'm eligible to carry? The Human Resources Office will do the blah, 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 blah. I'm going to retire soon. What requirements to continue my health benefits into retirement? All right. To continue your health benefits enrollment into your retirement, you must first have retired on an immediate annuity. Okay. To have been continuously enrolled in the or covered as a family member in the FEHB program plan for 5 years of service immediately preceding retirement or less than 5 years for all services since your first opportunity to enroll. So that's that 5 years I was talking about. Will my premium increase? No, you will pay the same premium as you paid while you were an employee. However, annuities are paid on a monthly basis, so you will pay them at a monthly rate. You may see an increase in if you are employed by agencies such as the post office that contributes additional money towards the total premium. Retirees receive the same government contribution as most federal. I'm working a part-time schedule and therefore my government contribution is prorated. I recently retired, but my spouse is a current federal one. I'm currently in a health maintenance. How do I get a waiver of the 5-year coverage requirement? I know I've enrolled. After I retire, can I roll in the self plus one? Blah, blah, blah. If I want additional family members covered under federal health benefits program after I retire, must I enroll in self family or self plus coverage? No, you do not change to self or family to self and family or self plus one. As employee annuitant, you can change to self and family or self plus coverage during the federal benefits open season or if you've experienced life event. However, you should remember that the event of your death, the only way your family members can continue FEHB coverage is if you are currently enrolled in a self and family or self plus one enrollment. Only designated family member under self plus one enrollment and your family members is eligible for a survivor annuity. There you go. So yes to your spouse. Yes to your spouse. Thank you, Cicely, for that one. All right, so let me finish up so we can get up out of here. Cause y'all got me tonight. Mm. Where's my girl at? I need a recap of her. All right, real estate. Is this the one I was on? We finished this one, right? Yeah. Mm. And on top of that, the money that she got, that lady, she inherited that money from her ex-husband, and then she done sold it and gave it to the next man. Oh, y'all ladies be killing me. Put your money up. You'll never know what's gonna happen. I forgot what I was reading now. Oh, yeah, right here. All right, 7,500,000 might sound like a lot, but will it fund a comfortable retirement? The 4% rule said you do a 4% drawdown. That you're only drawing down 20,000 a year. Sure, it might cover some expenses, but unlikely to maintain your pre-retirement lifestyle for many people. Luckily, there's more to retirement income picture than just savings. Social Security benefits. Remember, they're gonna in 2034 they're gonna for every $1,000 that would have been yours, you're only gonna receive $800 on that. So you're gonna miss out on $200. Can provide a steady income stream and provide and part-time work or rental properties can supplement your retirement funds. The average Social Security benefit is around 1827 a month, up to about 22,000 a year, combined with 20,000 from your savings and you're looking at roughly about 42,000 annually. This can help with basic living expenses. I don't know where you're living at unless everything gets paid off. But again, this is what they're saying. I'm only reporting what they say. Whether you're just starting your savings journey or well on your way to 500,000, every dollar counts, every penny counts. Contributing regularly to your retirement accounts, taking advantage of your employer matches, and exploring other investment options can make a big difference. And then go from there. All right. So listen, start saving up for your money. Think about plans of where of jobs that can help you. Again, I talked about this on Saturday show. I talked about this strategically plenty of times before. Be strategic. Um, I went on Professor Black Ops show and I talked about this too, right? Always looking for someone that can help you with your contributions to your 401k and your retirement. Start looking at people that's doing 10, 15, 25% automatically off the rip into your retirement. Also look at investing into your brokerage account. If you're not going to if you're not going to go buy real estate and so forth, look at REITs. But either way it go, diversify your savings, diversify your portfolio. Also, think outside of the box when you're talking about things that you want to do in order to increase your income, increase your skill set, right? There's one thing Kelsey said about the other night, and we were talking about this, and everybody who was there have heard this. One thing we talked about, what if you get you do a job interview and you get a job offer for 120,000, and another person call you up and they say, "Hey, you know what? Hey man, we really, really digging your resume." And you're like, "Hey, I just got an offer, but I'm willing to entertain." And they say, "Well, what was the offer for?" And they say, you say 120. And they say they come back and they can give you 240. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna take the 120 and be like, "Nah, son"? You gonna stiff arm them? You gonna hide them? What you gonna do? Or you gonna be like, "Let me do this interview process and see if I can get this 240?" So I'm gonna tell you what as we stated that night, we said you will be doing the current company an injustice by taking the 120, and you will be doing yourself an injustice by staying there and taking that 120 when you can go get the 240, right? So again, you got to know your worth. You got to know what skill sets are in demand. Study your craft, study the game. Don't be on the sideline looking at everybody else pass you by. And make sure, last but not least, don't put $150,000 in somebody's bank account that you ain't married to. All right, now y'all. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe out there. Remember, lighters in the air, lighters in the air.